Hi, everybody. This is the official podcast for our journal, Artificial Intelligence Surgery, the first journal, maybe the only journal dedicated exclusively to artificial intelligence and surgery. I'm here with my co-host, Professor and Dr. Vincent Grasso, who will introduce our next guest.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. It's episode 78 of the AI and Cybersurgery podcast for our journal, Artificial Intelligence Surgery. It's the only surgery journal really dedicated to all things AI. We have the great pleasure of having Matteo Spinazzola on today. He has an interesting company he's the CEO of, I believe, called GRANTSPIDER. And we're looking forward to learning more about your platform and then more about you. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you, Vincent. Thank you, Andrew, for hosting this and for inviting me. I'm Matteo Spinazzola. I am the CEO and the co-founder of GrantSpider. GrantSpider is a platform launched in 2025 to accommodate all the needs of those who apply for grants. And typically, we mean
In Europe or everywhere?
we're starting from Europe. We're ambitious,
Okay.
but let's start from Europe. That's where
Okay.
we're based. Me and my co-founder, Aurelio Negri, who couldn't make it today, are based in Europe. We have experience in working in Europe, mostly in Italy and in the Benelux, with grants for academia or for scale-ups in the technology companies, essentially.
What about the
So
UK? What about the UK?
yeah, I mean they're still in Europe, and also they have the opportunity to participate in many European grants. So we have some customers there as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, explain to us a little bit better how, well, you know what, before we get there, let's find out where you're from, where you're living now, how you got into Grant Spider. It sounds like you must have some experience writing grants and doing research. So maybe we can learn a little bit about that also.
So I'm from Torino in the north of Italy, a city most known for FCA, so car manufacturing city, like the Detroit of Italy, let's say. And I did my studies here, and then in 2018 I moved to the Netherlands.
You mean it's
And
most
that's
known for Juventus, you mean?
Yeah, I'm afraid about that for that too. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes. Also for Juventus. And so I moved to the Netherlands in 2018, and that's pretty pivotal for me because I mean academia works very differently in Italy and in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, it's much more let's say UK-like, very much like say strong interaction between students and researchers. And so there I started getting interested into research. I started working on financed projects. Actually, the first project I worked on was ERC Advanced Grant Project. So really the highest level you can think of in Europe. And that was very enthusiasming, let's say, and motivating for me. And at that same time, I also met Aurelio, which is my co-founder. So we were in the same program there. We did our masters there. And I
Masters
did
in
more
what? Masters in what?
environmental sciences.
Nice. Okay. Good. So you
Yeah.
must do a lot
So
of that must help with sustainability grants.
yes,
Yeah, great.
yes. Actually, sustainability is a very wide topic, right? So there's a lot of sustainability, let's say policy sustainability, but there's also a lot of technology involved in sustainability. So I was more on the policy side, and Aweli was more on the tech side. He's more been working in clean energy topics. So he has had the opportunity to work mostly with, let's say, um, wind power and PVs in his professional career in the Benelux, while I was more on the policy and economic side. And so we stayed there for 2 years. In the beginning, we did not like each other so much. This is something that we tell that it's a kind of it's. I think we didn't click immediately. This is interesting. But then in the long we were brought together because we had two friends that in common, and they were always squatting at my place, and it was coming along. And so in the beginning it was a bit difficult, the interaction, but then time after time we realized that we our minds were working very very much in a similar way. We were very much analytical and entrepreneurial people. So actually, since 2020, I would say we always said the day that one of us launches his own company, the other one is going to be involved for sure.
Okay.
And so this was kind of a, let's say, inside joke or inside narrative we kept for a few years. In 2020, I came back to Italy. I did my PhD at the University of Turin. Well, East in
PhD
the Netherlands.
in what? PhD in?
So it was in economics, but I've actually always been more as a data scientist than a pure economist. So I'm not a theory guy. I really like finding data, gathering data, and crunching them. And so that's how I actually got all the tech skills that I'm using today for GRANTSPIDER. But it's still very useful because, I mean, I was working on innovation economics. So I was getting exposed a lot also to theories concerning entrepreneurship and innovation, and also in a sense to the economics of innovation, also how public finance impacts innovation and innovativeness of companies and territories. So in a sense,
during your PhD and your master's, did you also apply for grants and get them? Okay, and that's where you learned about GRANTSPIDER.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I applied for, I don't know, I think around 20 of different sizes. We won 3, which paid for my, very, very much necessary, right? So they paid also for my postdoc later. They were.
What was your postdoc in?
Yeah, same topic. I mean, more or less the same topic.
Okay,
I was, as I say, I was very much hands-on. So my core topic of my postdoc was on building a platform for real-time job monitoring in Italy. So we were monitoring both supply side and demand side of vacancies. So if there were more vacancies published on a specific topic in a specific territory, and how many people were graduating in that territory in a same year. So to see what was the balance, if there was a, let's say, pull or push in skills and let's say careers. So that was my topic for the postdoc, and I applied for a few grants, a few prints. They are essentially the Italian key, let's say, program for financed research in academia. And then we applied also for some regional grants, and we also got that one. But I was already out when we were actually awarded, so I didn't benefit from that one. So I got some experience there. While my co-founder, he was working as an innovation consultant at some point. So that was his bread and butter every day, right? So writing grants, mostly for clean tech startups, and winning quite a lot because he started winning quite some. So he got a very good expertise there. And then I think it was about 1 year ago, we of course were still very much friends. We were interacting daily in a sense. At some point, we realized that I was coming from a period of like 6 months in which I had written 10 grants. Okay, so that was very much a pain in my head. It had been a pain in my head for the previous 6 months, and we came together, and I was like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I approaching each grant anew, manually? And I can't find a tool to do it for myself. And I looked up for some tools, but I was not satisfied with what I could find. And so I was like, okay, maybe I can develop my own. And of course, Aurelio was the right person for doing that with, because he also had even more experience than me with grants. So perfect match, perfect timing, as I see.
So this is interesting because it sounds like, I think it feels like Vincent and I are dreaming. It sounds like you have a platform that helps automate grant submission, or does it help finding the grant, or does it help with everything? And oh my goodness, tell us more.
Yeah, so everything, because from the get-go, it was clear that a crucial problem in grant applications is integrating multiple steps in one place, because you have to find that grant, then you have to draft a proposal, then you have to collaborate on writing that proposal with 10 other people from 10 other companies or organizations, and then you have to find these people because maybe you don't have them, and then you have to complete the proposal, and then you have to report on that proposal. Like if you win, if you're lucky, if you get 5 millions, then you have to suffer for 5 years and actually report how you were spending each penny. And so it was clear that we needed to have one place to rule them all. Like at the time, we were often thinking of this image, of the ring of the Lord of the Rings, like one ring to rule them all. We had this idea, we need a tool to integrate everything in one place and automate as much as possible. And we did. Actually, it was challenging because one of the things you typically say to startups is choose only one thing and do it well, but choose a very small niche. And we were like, no, we need a tool that integrates a lot of different technologies effectively. Because if we do, then we can really give value to our customers. And
you do the whole thing from finding the grant, submitting the grant, and then reporting the grant. Wow.
Yes. Yeah. I'm glad you appreciate it.
Yeah. No, I'm still, I hate to go right to my next question, but I can't, I physically can't ask any other question. How much? How like, can you give us you don't have to give us a specific number, but give us a range or a ballpark or something that people can understand. And also, maybe countries with less money, is it cheaper? All these things. If you could paint a picture for us.
Yeah, I mean, our goal is to democratize access to grants. Okay, so we don't want to be something that is exclusive or that is creating more barriers to people. I mean, I come from a relatively low-income country in Europe, and academia in Italy hasn't got a huge budget. So we really want to fix that.
Has not a huge budget. It sounds like you said
no, it does not.
Has
yes,
not.
sorry.
Yeah,
it does not have a huge budget, right? So we really want to get rid of that. So we try to be as cheap as possible. So our idea is that for every euro that you spend on GRANTSPIDER, you must save 9. Okay. So if today a grant application is typically between 10 and 40K, depends on the type, then you have to pay between 1 and 4K for everything. Okay. So it must be 1/10.
Wow. So your idea is basically you're only asking for 10% of what every other grant writing organization does, basically.
Exactly.
Wow. That's crazy. Give me a moment to recover. Vincent, ask a question because I need a moment to recover.
Yeah, just explain that a little bit better to me. You take 10% of the total award.
We have some agreements with some customers. Let's say are proposing that, but no, we give it that as a SaaS, as a software. Okay, but our software estimates how much you use it, and then we do the math in between, right? So we know that if you typically have to prepare an horizon, which typically costs you, 10K, 20K in hourly, also internal hours, then you consume a certain amount of credits on our platform that more or less equal to 1,000 euro, more or less.
So Vincent, I've been contacted by many companies, offering their services, and they usually, they usually want, as he said, between $15,000 and $35,000 per proposal. Right. So the fact that he's basically saying we'll do the same thing for $1,500 to $3,500 is mind-blowing, because say you could get $35,000 from an investor, you could now take $35,000 and apply to 10 grants. And, but that said, what does because it sounds like the person using it or applying for the grant is still doing the work. They just have access to your program.
Right.
So give us
an idea we have different
of how that would work. Say right
now.
We
have different ways.
Yeah. We
have different ways. I mean, the cheapest solution is we give you the software, you use it, you are happy with it, your money, okay? But we know that there are some, let's say, target customers that may want still a human to handle the proposal for them. So to them, we offer a turnkey solution. So they gave us, 3, 4K, depending on the application upfront. We manage everything. We give them the software as well, so they can monitor our work and let's say, help us out, in a sense. And that's also the alternative. I would say the software let's say, completes 70-80% of the application. Of course, it can't do 100%. There is no such thing, because it's also very technical. So you must know what you're writing, right? You know your technology, your science better than any AI ever could. But we get rid of the first 70-80% grinding, and we think that's already a great support.
I mean, and that's essentially generating the text, the proposal. I mean, it's a generative AI platform, I presume.
I mean, that's one of the feature, and it's clearly one of the core ones. But we also help you find the grant. So we have dozens of platforms that converge on our own, and you can find there all the grants for Italy, for the Netherlands, for Benelux, for France, for the European Union, of course, all in one place, all with easy filters. You can filter by TRL, by budget, by country, by type of organization. You can find partners as well. So you can also find a database with 4 million people and organizations on our database, and you can find the partners to apply for these grants with on our database. And then we have the writing. And then, of course, there's a lot of Gen AI involved there.
So for instance, I would imagine for instance, you said you applied to 20, you got 3. So that means 17 proposals, arguably, you have in space that didn't go anywhere. So
Yeah.
for people who have a proposal that they submitted that didn't get accepted, could they essentially go to your platform, upload their old proposal, and have the platform be like, oh, this grant would work, this grant would work, this, and then it would do 70% of the work.
Exactly.
And so in that scenario, right now, I want to use GrantSpider. I submit an old proposal that hasn't found funding yet. From the time I contact you to the time a proposal could be submitted would be how long? Say I have a submission due. Say it pops up here. This grant would work, but the submission is in 4 weeks. Would you be able to? Would GrantSpider be able to do that? Wow.
Yeah. As long as you already have a clear idea in mind of what you want to do and the materials, you can fill in all the forms in 1 day. So, and then you have 3 weeks and 4 days to spare for revising as much as you need. So we really get rid of the first 70-80% work, and no blank page. You always start from something, and then you can revise later.
So for instance, you have a grant, you have 3 partners, but the grant you need 5 partners, and you don't have one, and then your application will be like, oh, well, you can use this guy, or you can use this person, or this woman, or this. And for instance, how do you get to be one of those people? Do you have like a database of partners that can sign up somehow?
Yes. So that's a GDPR sensitive question. How we do it now is in a very GDPR compliant way. So we don't give you yet.
What is GDPR? Remind me what that stands for.
Okay, sorry. GDPR is the European Regulation for Privacy.
HIPAA, I guess, in America, Vincent. Is it like HIPAA?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. Okay.
That's patient, it's broader.
Okay.
So, of course, that's tricky, and we are a small startup still. So we're trying to be very careful there. What we do now is give you the name of the organization who has expertise in that type of activity.
Okay.
We have this, as I said, 4 million entities on our database. Essentially, we cover 90% of the topics you can think about. And for each of them, we have a description of their expertise, how that fits with your project, and their track record. So if they won in the past, how much they won, what was their responsibility in that project. So, if they can be a coordinator or more like a smaller fish in the project, and you get an idea. You filter them out, and then you can reach them and try to start a conversation with them.
So this is interesting because a few months ago, I was approached by an American company, and they wanted me to submit a grant. And I was like, look, I don't have time. So then what they did is they went around looking for grant writers because they knew there was a deadline coming up. and they couldn't find anybody. And these people were like, we're too busy. Even if they were to pay them 35,000 euros, all these people, because the time was running up, like, look, we don't have the time. And so basically what you're telling me is you've completely solved that problem. I can contact that company again now and say, hey, okay, this is a perfect scenario. So I have this company. Um, I don't know if there's any grants out there, but could I talk to you and be like, this is the type of thing I want to do, and could you give me like a devis, an estimated price of how much it would cost, for instance. Like right now, say I want to do a project and I have the project. I contact you, I talk to you, and I show you the project. You'll tell me what?
How
What will you
much?
tell me? Because maybe you're going to find 10 grants that it could fit for, or maybe you're going to find one. So give me an idea of how that would work.
But would that be a turnkey solution? Like I also support you, or you just need the software?
Support me, of course.
Depends.
They've got deep
Okay.
pockets.
I would
But
say if
in
it
this
is,
scenario,
I would say probably between 2 and 5K.
but for instance, now say you put in the research and now you found 10 grants.
Yes.
So now you have to apply to 10 grants. So is the
Yeah,
price staying the same or is the price
well, of course
increasing?
of course. I
What?
think that the first time, if you, as I said, if you, the first drafting, if you don't have anything, it's going to take you some days probably.
Yeah.
But then you do it in one day. So we can really like lower the price, even for turnkey solutions.
Wow.
So
Because like in my brain, I understand it's 2 to 3 thousand, whatever, per grant. But say your program pops up 10 grants, you're telling me the price will stay the same?
I mean, yes, it depends on the how much work is needed from a human being. But if the time needed by that human being is really low, it's like a few hours. Of course, we can't ask you for 5K for a few hours, right?
Yeah.
So it really depends on what is involved. If you want what type of service you want from a human, but software scales really easily. So there is no need for overcharge you. Let's be honest there.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, it sounds like I'm going to be sending you an email in a couple of days. Maybe,
Sounds good to me.
I'll talk to them, but I mean, if you could find grants for basically $5,000, I mean, if you can find multiple grants and submit them, I mean, this is I mean, Vincent, am I dreaming? This sounds like a beautiful thing.
No, I like it. I like Matteo's, GRANTSPIDER does the heavy lifting up front of finding opportunities. And there's a fee because he has a tokenized platform, right, Matteo, that
Exactly. Yeah.
consumption is tokenized. So if you consume a lot of tokens because you have to do a lot of work, it costs more. So that's very nice. And the better, I would imagine, Matteo, the better the quality of the documents that you are provided with, the less work you do on your end with a human, therefore it's machine based, so it's inexpensive, right? So
Exactly.
that's really nice. And I had one question, maybe we could do this offline, but part of I think your challenge is confidentiality and intellectual property. So if Andrew uploads a 40-page proposal that he wrote that had his insights, and you now have it within your environment, right? You have a copy of it, and you can do analytics on 5,000 proposals that you were sent, and maybe that's contractual perhaps. So that's where the privacy issues come up, right? Who owns that? Are you allowed to use it? Not really, but maybe, and that's interesting, right?
Yeah, but I want to be clear. This is a concern that all our customers have, and of course, we agree on that their intellectual property should be their own and
Sure.
only. Okay, so it's only their own. They only can see it. They only can use it. We keep it on our servers, and it never leaves them. What we are actually offering customers is that if they are allowed to, we can train a dedicated LLM on their own documents.
Right.
So if you develop, if you have 10 projects from the last 10 years, and you want something more than, let's say, the basic GRANTSPIDER offering, you can ask us, and we can train an LLM just for you, and only you can use it. So your models are used to train an AI, but only for
Right.
your own service.
So you're a data scientist too, which, so you're an economist, finance, a data science guy. Who's the architect of the platform? Is that your partner? You have a team that has built this out. Talk a little bit about that.
I mean, I've developed the MVP,
Yeah,
and then expanded my capabilities with people that actually have experience in pure
right.
software development and cloud systems. So we have a few people from NASA, from Canon, from the University of Turin as well. So I think we really managed to create a team that has expertise in all the different
Sure.
areas needed to develop a system as complex as our own, and for now it's going well. So as of now, let's say I'm still in charge of the, let's say, the vision for the product, but not necessarily on all the little details on how to
Sure, of
best
course.
implement it, because of course there are people for that.
That's very exciting, Andrew. This sounds very cool.
Yeah,
It
thank
sounds
you.
like beyond cool, but I have one last question because we're running out of
All
time.
time, yeah.
Why did you call it Grant Spider? Because spider's a little bit scary. What? Just curious there.
I mean, mistakes from your let's say from the beginning of this journey. I would say um, we were really trying to think something that was grabbing
Yeah.
as a spider. And also we thought, okay, animals are something that really gives you easily um, something people can easily identify, because right now there are a lot of startups that have sounding names like a Weibo or a Filbo, or so they don't
NVIDIA.
mean
Yeah.
anything really,
Yeah.
but they sound nice. But they also tend to sound all like the same, right? So what we thought is, okay, let's choose something that is, let's say, concrete. People can really grasp what it is, and it is aligned with what we do in a sense. And it was Grand Spider. And then we also realized that yes, maybe spiders are a bit scary, so we try to make them as little scary as possible in all the graphics and
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. But no, I get it. I get it. And this is great. So how would someone contact Grant Spider? Is it just they go to the website and they email a proposal and then someone gets in touch with them?
Yes, there is a form on the website. There is an email address. They can contact us, and of course, we can provide typically a short call, like 20, 30 minutes. We understand their need, and typically recommend a solution that can be the turnkey or can be the software as it is.
And Vincent alluded to this, but I want to just clarify it because I know people whoever's listening is going to want to know. Is there a way to work with you where you get a commission?
Yes, we've been asked about it. And we think it makes sense because we want to keep prices low, and we want to be, let's say, on the same boat of our customers. Okay, for the good opportunities and the bad ones. So yes, we have this opportunity, especially for larger, let's say, for organization type contracts, where it makes sense to also set up all the admins for doing it. That's a solution we contemplate, and I think can be very, let's say, functional from both sides.
You know what, Vincent, unless you have something to say, I'm going to end there because in the last few minutes, I want to talk to Matteo about something
Yeah,
with
sure.
you. Are we good? So
Yeah, we're good.
this is a great platform. So hopefully, a lot of people see this because I'm blown away. How long has Grand Spider been around again?
6 months.
So, I mean, are you exploding or people still don't know about you?
Uh, we have a steep curve.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, this is phenomenal. Okay, so great podcast. I'm just going to stop here.